Welcome to Spectrum Perspectives, real talk with parents, professionals, and autism advocates. With your host, Cindy Gellermini.
Hi, everyone. This is Cindy with another episode of Spectrum Perspectives. And today I have my friends on. Lori and Ricky are here to join us. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Cindy. Thanks for having us.
Hi, Cindy.
Hey, Rick. So Lori and I, we've known each other for a few years. You first came to one of my lemonade retreats. That's how we met.
Yep.
And then you told me about Evermore Lifestyle Solutions. And I did interview Jennifer. I'm going to put her episode after yours.
Great.
So we can talk about that. But Ricky became an open speller within this past year. So we definitely want to talk about that. And we've got and I've mentioned you in a few of the episodes, actually. So now people can see who I'm actually talking about. This is Lori. So let's go back to the very beginning. First of all, you have kind of a unique story because you have several kids, but Ricky's your only biological child.
That's correct.
Right? So where is he in the order? Like, was he the first, the last, the middle? Where is he?
He's our second.
Okay, so you adopted somebody before him.
No, we had Ricky, and then when Ricky was 6 years old, we decided that we wanted to start fostering and possibly adoption. And we had a couple of different individuals that came to the home that we fostered that we're still very close to. But then in 2018, we adopted a sibling group of 3. And in that, Ricky falls second in line to my oldest daughter, age-wise. So it goes from 24 down to 17.
Also.
Wait a minute. So the oldest daughter, though, did you foster her?
We fostered how old is she now? She's almost 30 now, but she wasn't adopted.
Okay.
And then we adopted a sibling group. There's a 24-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 19-year-old. And we have another foster daughter that wasn't adopted, but is our daughter in every sense of the word. That's our daughter that's in the Army, and she's 22.
Right. Okay. And how old is Ricky now?
She's going to be 24 in February.
I was going to say, I thought he was 24. Okay. Oh, coming up soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me I know he had some health issues when he was a baby. So tell me a little bit about that, about his birth and delivery and all that.
So up until 6 months old, he had a normal, no issues during delivery. He was fine, healthy, and thriving. And then when he became 6 months old, he had a cold that wasn't going away. And then it led into pneumonia and then to double pneumonia. And we had found, after going through Robert Wood and JFK and Barnabas and then eventually to CHOP in Philadelphia, that he has a very rare disease called severe combined immune deficiency, also known as the boy in the bubble disease. Affects 1, 2 in 500,000 births. And we had found along the way that it was a defect on the X chromosome on my mother's side. I have a brother who is fine. My mother had a brother who died as a baby with thrush, but it was a long time ago. They only started to recognize this disease in 1972 and found that stem cell transplants could help cure this disease. In Ricky's case, it was found so late that we did the stem cell transplant, but it really was a problem and it didn't work until we had gotten to the point where they told us that he wasn't going to make it, that his lungs would blow holes in them from the severe pneumonia that was in it.
And what age is this that we're talking about? 6 months?
6 months old.
So doing the stem cell at 6 months is already like too late? When are you supposed to do this? Like in utero or the day they're born or what?
Well, because at that time he was already so sick. So the pneumonia that he had was the same as you would see in an AIDS patient, called pneumocystic carinii pneumonia, which they usually die from that. And so the disease that Ricky has, and it's called SCIDS, is basically on those same lines, that their body just can't handle it. And we were only about 3 weeks into his transplant, and his lungs just continuously had gotten worse. And he was on a special ventilator called an oscillator that he was on his belly and it was just blowing holes into his lungs consistently and at the highest settings. So he had gotten to the point where he didn't have the immune system to fight it, and his lungs were getting weaker and weaker, and they didn't think that he could withstand that heavy ventilation much longer. So the doctors said, well, we need to sit down and come up with a plan of action. My husband and I thought, okay, you know, maybe there's going to be a new protocol that they're going to try or something with the transplant. And we walked into the room and they sat us down and said, we think it's time that you should plan for Rick's funeral. We don't think that it's going to be much longer. We've tried everything we can. The transplant is not strong enough. It's too new. And okay, so what they had to do was to take the stem cells out of my husband's blood. Those are the immature cells that would grow into Rick's body to give him an immune system.
Okay.
Typically, you would see that for different cancers, but people are given chemo ahead of time to rid their body of any of the problem cells that would fight off the transplant. In Rick's case, because he was fine and then had developed this pneumonia and he was young and it was found so late because it's so rare, the pneumonia had took over his lungs in such a way that they were destroying his lungs to where they were still going to do that transplant, but they did what they called dumping. And that was literally putting my husband's stem cells into a syringe and injecting it into Ricky and then praying for the best.
Mm.
And at that time, the best was not happening because there wasn't enough of time and his lungs were just so destroyed. So, which is why they had said, we need to talk about what is going to happen here. They told us Ricky was the sickest child on the unit. And we had a little girl next door dying of liver cancer. There was another one that was in a car accident that his spinal column was severed. So I couldn't process what that was all about. But that's where we were. So in that exact moment, my mother stood up and she told the doctor, who do you think you are? You are not God. My grandson will show you. And we had the entire ICU team. This is Children's Hospital. This is the top of the top, immunology, transplants, everybody familiar with all of these, and just said, Mom, Grandma, you know, it's not a good idea to give them false hope because they need to accept what's going to happen. And my mother said, you are going to see. My grandson will show you. Don't tell me. There's life and there's always hope. And so we let that go because at this point now they had to give me a medication because I passed out. My husband just could not function and think. So we just decided to take the rest of that day and process what was happening. Well, the next day came and something miraculous happened. And the doctors came in and said, the x-ray looks a little bit different. We're not sure what's happening. Let's try to lower these vent settings and just possibly see. Lowered the settings. He held his own. Later on in the day, they checked again, tried again. He held his own. The next day, his lungs were clear. And he came up clear, not a mark on them.
Were you praying during this time or what?
I was in that chapel on my knees begging. Okay, this is where I say all of like my history comes in, and I know this is not the right way to do this, but I was like, please God, if you can just save him, I will devote my life to children in whatever way you lead me to. And I left it at that. And and so clear lungs. They took him off that ventilator that following day. He drank a bottle. He ate as if there wasn't anything that was ever wrong with him.
Wow.
Came out of the ICU, and we were on our way. Although the next 3 years were up and down with his transplant levels, with line infections, because now he was 3 years old. had a Broviac in his chest for nutrition, would get infections because he was still not a normal immune system. And by the time we finally finished all that up at about 4, he had 10 Broviac placements. He had
What is that? What's Broviac?
it's what feeds the body the nutrition through the IV. It's not an IV. They would put it into the chest to go right in to the main arteries because his veins were just so poor it couldn't handle any.
So it's not a feeding tube. This is something to do
It was not a
with his blood or his veins or something.
No, but it was. It's called TPN, which is total parenteral nutrition.
Okay.
He did have a feeding tube for a while.
Come
That
on,
wasn't
man.
enough for him. He was
Come on, I'm
16
leaving.
pounds, completely bald at the age of 3 from everything that had happened to him. But little by little, he had gotten better, but it's been up and down. I mean, I'm not going to say it is been done and easy and over. We have had dips in his levels, and then up they would shoot, and then they dip. And at one point, it was, I think in 2018, the numbers were very, very low, and they brought us back in and said, let's do all the type and screening, and let's be prepared for a second transplant because another dip, and we're going to have to do it. And we prayed so hard. At that time, we were at Liquid Church, and we had everybody in the prayer team with us and praying, and they did his blood work, and his numbers just shot up to normal levels. And we've kind of been at that ever since. And he has done great. There hasn't been any illnesses, no colds, nothing. He has just been thriving. They told us he would never grow his hair. His hair is back. He's just, yeah, look at all that hair you have. He's been great. So we still never take the medical end of it off of the table because things can change. But by God's grace, he has been sustaining him. And most recently, one of the things that he has told me in his spelling was that God told him not to look at his numbers, that he cured him because he needs to be here for me and to help me go forward and helping children. So it's been medically, it has been, a long road. But we have, our faith was strong before, but witnessing that and then hearing from the doctors consistently throughout the years, Mom, kids like this, they die from infection. Until at one point I had to say to them, like, are you trying to cause me now to have a heart attack? Because if you keep doing this to me, I'm going to get sick myself. I can't function with you telling me that, right? Just let's see what happens. We trust God. Never undermining those doctors ever, because they did do their part. But I have the strong faith that it was God's hand on them. And they know that. They have discussed that with us, that there is no way that he should have come out of this. And the
What
way
about your mom? Is she a woman of faith too? Is that why she stood up to them like that?
So she believes, honestly, I don't know what came over her that day. She's been a prayer, never a church goer.
Right.
And a lot of that goes back to my dad passed away. My mother was very young, and she was hopelessly in love with him for the 30 years that they were married. And I know that took her away from her faith some, but she wasn't one of those that had that solid faith and go to church. But in that particular moment, she just knew, and she just said, he's going to show you. And that was one of the things Ricky has also told us too, was that Nana saved his life by proclaiming that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She really put that out there. She put it, she like just put a stop to all those negative words being spoken over him. She's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to
tell her
that.
anything different. She was not about to believe that one,
Right.
regardless of what we were looking at. And we were looking at a very bad situation.
Right.
No.
Right. there's a lot to that, but I don't want to get off on a rabbit trail.
Oh,
Okay,
Pip.
so let's talk about the autism diagnosis a little bit. So did he have language? Does he have speech? I mean, I know he has some words right now, but it's like it's unreliable speech. But
Right.
how and when did you end up with an autism diagnosis?
So I will say it was very strange. With Ricky, he lost a lot of his high frequency hearing with the medications from the transplant. We did not know that because it is a slow progression. And when he was 7, I kept saying, like, why do I have to keep like calling his name so many times? We would have the eye contact. He had the words, he was interacting, but to get his attention was, and then we would see some of the stims. And so I had brought him to children specialized in Mountainside. I had private therapists come into the home. It took me until 10 to get him diagnosed because
Wait, so you mentioned stims. You knew what stimming was?
I did. And I
How
knew
did you know that?
I actually from my friend Joanne, right? So I'm familiar with the autism world. And
Because you had a friend with an autistic son?
yeah, so I knew of it.
Mhm.
I was very involved in the school, so I was, aware of the special needs classrooms and what the kids were doing. So I knew that. And what he would do would be like hold his hands up and then shake them or rub everything, all of those things that that are just like the classic things that you would see. But because he was sociable, he did have better language than he does now. And this is something I still do not understand, but we'll figure that out someday. And he had more skills, but this again is around 8, 9, around that age. And then slowly we brought him to a different neurologist, and then finally the school psychologist diagnosed him with autism. And then things went
And
from
how
there.
old did you say that was? Around 10?
It was about 10.
So
And
was he going to regular school classes or what?
he was in the pre-K disabled, and then they had him in multiple disability because of his illness and because of the hearing loss. So now at this time, we already knew that he had the hearing loss. He had hearing aids to help him. And because he was living in isolation for the first 4 years of his life, it was assumed that there was developmental delays due to his medical illness.
Okay.
So it's a different road than most, because could it still be the developmental delays? Maybe. I don't know, because it's so closely tied. He had a lot of trouble coming off of the ventilator, and this was the first round. This was before the proclaiming of his and they had given him a medication in the ventilator. I wish I could remember it now and out of my head, and that was to help him come off. And he did. But he was on and off twice, and he was on a protocol with high settings. I don't know, was there oxygen loss because of all of these things? Like, we've never really had anything definitive on that from anybody.
Right.
So he was labeled PDD for a while, then multiple disabled, hearing impaired, then eventually autistic spectrum.
Now, what about you? What's your involvement with working with autistic kids?
So I would say Ricky was about 12, and Joanne Fruciano and I decided to start a bowling team for our boys to give them something to do. And from there, it grew so much until we developed the Spectrum All-Stars. My involvement then was 13 years of working with multiple ages and individuals, not only with bowling. We teamed up with the town of Linden, and we had the rec center, and we had different programs. We worked with Union County on developing programs. So I worked as a recreation coordinator until I eventually decided to go for behavior therapy because I was very interested in the field now at this point and wanted to come away from my life career. Was a pharmacy buyer for 33 years. I left at 50 to go into behavior therapy so that I could still work strictly with the autistic individuals. Went on to get my certification to become a registered behavior technician. And I did that for a few years until I moved down to Tom's River, where I met Jen. And Evermore came upon us, and now we're here, and I'm there as their family support director.
Got it.
But I'm working with them at different areas, some behavior therapy skills, some social skills, helping out the family. So I'm not only in the behavior therapy area, but then now spelling
Got
is
it.
the next part. So it's been about 15 years
Okay.
of working with many individuals.
All right. So did he stay in school till he was 21, Ricky?
He was almost 22 when he graduated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was not spelling yet, though.
He was spelling on and off with another friend who had been doing it with her daughter, and I was interested in it.
Well, that's my next question was, how did you find out about spelling? So
Okay,
so you found out about it when he was still in school.
he was still in school, yes.
Okay.
Found out through a friend, Debbie, who you know. And I was watching the progress that she was making with her daughter. And at one of the programs that I was running, she was there and had a meltdown. And I saw Debbie pull out the boards and I watched her spell out, "I'm so embarrassed. I don't mean to cry." And I was blown away. And I said, "Oh my God." Like Tiffany, she was brand new with all of this. I had watched Debbie at different times, but I've never really seen like a conversation like that. And she was on point with exactly what she was feeling. So it piqued my interest. And I had Ricky going to see her at her house to see, is this something that he could do? Well, on the first time of putting a board in front of his face, he started to spell with her and he told her, and I watched it, so I know, that it was really happening. He spelled about wanting to go to New York, and he spelled about how my mom doesn't believe this is happening, and I want to do different things. So I spoke with Debbie, and we decided we were going to try to do this together. I would start to work with her daughter, and she would work with Ricky. And we did a few sessions and we were both able to do it with each other. So then from there, I decided I was going to take the RPM course, following Debbie's lead and what she was doing. And I took that, it's almost 3 years ago.
Okay. So that's the method she was using. She was using RPM.
She was using RPM.
And did she do it with anybody else, or she did it just to do with her daughter?
Just her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was fascinating because I think I've shared this with you. Like, I just love how Soma teaches so much about the brain and apraxia and all of these things. And I was like blown away by it. And so I did it. I finished the course. I still have yet to be certified because I'm diving so much into it. So I really want to learn it and understand it. I'm fascinated, although I will do it now before spring because I'm at the end now of the reviewing. But in between, I would work with Ricky on different lessons, and he was able to spell. And I was like, this is so fascinating. But he was spelling. He wasn't an open speller, obviously, with me, but he was able to spell regular questions off of the lesson. And I didn't go to any of those open questions because we weren't at that point. But it was just on and off. And It wasn't until
So you had to sit and do a lesson with him though, right?
I
So
did sit and do lessons. Yes.
so
Yes.
just so people understand, if they don't understand what it means to be open and all that kind of stuff. So RPM is very lesson based, right? And you
Yes.
teach a lesson, then you ask questions about what they just learned, and
Yes.
then and it's like a known answer of what it's going to be, and then
Mhm.
he answers that question, right? Is
Yes.
it like a one word answer? Is it a sentence? Like give us an
Well,
example of what the type of question.
I would read a
Mm.
lesson to him about animals.
Okay.
And then what color was the ball that was in the animal's hand in this book? Very babyish things, things that I knew that he liked. Sesame Street. Just different books and different things that would pique his interest just to see what I can get out of him. And at that time, I thought, oh, wow, Ricky could spell out the ball is red, thinking that, yay,
So
he's
he
an
said the whole sentence. He didn't just say red. He said the ball is red.
he would do the whole sentence. Yes.
Because a lot of them all do that. When I've interviewed them, I'm expecting a one word answer and they write out the whole entire sentence.
Yep. He wrote out the whole sentence. And so I didn't realize at that point that I could move on with him. So we stayed at that level and I continued to do the reviewing of the RPM. When Evermore came about, I had met another mom, and that was Jill. And she had said to me, I wonder if Ricky is actually open and you don't know. Maybe you should give it a try with him. So I was watching her spell with her son. I was watching Debbie with her daughter. And I said, oh, you know what? Can one of you try it? And Jill had a board and she came and she sat next to Ricky and she asked him a question and he spelled. And I said, oh, wow, like that's two people. But he would not do it with me. When I tried, his hand would be all over the place. So she had said, just prop up his elbow a little bit. Sometimes you just need to steady his arm because he still has to build all of those skills. The second that I did that, I was able to get him to spell. So I made an appointment to go
Was he
see
on the
Jer-
laminate at this point, or was he on the stencil still?
We never did the stencils.
Oh, you went right to the laminate.
Right to the laminate letterboard. And the way it happened was because when I tried it the first time, it was with another mom. Her daughter had the laminate stencil. When I was doing it on my own, since he had already spelled with her on there, I'm like, well, let me just do the laminate stencil. I mean, the laminate board again. And when we did it at the center, she had the little laminate board with her too. And that's what he did. So I was advised to go make an appointment with Jersey Capola and see if I can get the help with Ricky so that I knew how to hold that letterboard and to prompt and all of those things that was missing for me. And in my first session with her, she was surprised. She was like, wow, he really has some very good skills. And she did an eye exam. So we know that his eyes were able to see the letters. So we made the appointments to come back once a week for the next couple of months to see how things would go.
Now, explain to people what Jersey Ann does. I had her come speak at one of my retreats and she spoke about MNRI.
Yes.
And I wanted to interview her, but she wanted me to interview like the woman that developed it. So
okay.
I haven't gotten to that point.
I mean, I don't want to do her a disservice because with Ricky, that first meeting was to see where he was at and like, could he go to the letters on the stencil board? And he was able to go right to them and answer her questions. And then when she did the eye exam and she saw that his vision was pretty accurate, he was able to meet the target for the letters. We decided, let's go to the laminate letterboard since that was what we had tried a few times. On our second visit was to do a lesson and to do the different levels of the questions with her. So the first question would have been something like, what color is the ball? And then where is the ball? And then how do you feel about the ball? Well, he was able to immediately answer the open-ended questions in that second
I was going
session.
to say, well, how do you feel about the ball is not a direct question. Now we're getting
Right.
into, yeah.
And we were surprised because she had said to me, like, have you been working on this? And I hadn't, like, it was just on and off sporadically. But by the second week, she had said, well, you can come back, but I don't know if you really need to. Now just keep practicing and working on his muscle memory and all of his skills.
Right.
And so by week 2, he was wide open.
But what does Jersey Ann do? What's different about her? Like, did you go to her just for spelling? Just for her to work on spelling with him, or was it for something
I
else
was
beyond that?
to learn how to hold the letter board because at that time I didn't know
Okay.
that you needed to hold. Well, the S2C method maybe is the way they
Mhm.
hold it differently than Soma.
Okay.
Soma teaches to meet where the eyes are at. And when I went to Jersey, she said, no, sit in front of him with the board directly in front of him. And then he should touch that way. So it was different.
Okay.
And the prompting was different
Yeah.
because, S2C has different prompts than RPM, obviously.
Okay. Well,
So
and this is something else that parents need to know too, because they always ask what's the difference between these methods, and if you ask a practitioner, they're not allowed to say. I'm just going to come right out and say it.
yeah,
Anybody that's trained in S2C is not allowed to talk about what is the difference between the methods. So I'm not going to get that answer out of them, but you're not technically certified in any of them and you're a mom and you can say whatever you want. So
yeah, it is different. And I like both of them for different reasons.
Mhm.
I tend to go more towards RPM because I really appreciate Soma's breakdown of the apraxia and the whys and how to work around behaviors. I loved immediately how she had said, do not go in with any fear. That child needs you, and you need to be there for that child. And she was the one that really helped me to understand that I shouldn't take it offensively, that they weren't going to hit me because they didn't like me or wanted to hurt me. And because she said that, and the examples that she showed during her training, it now took me to a very different understanding and the way that I handle those behavioral individuals. And I'm not even talking about spelling. I'm even talking about as a behavior therapist.
Mhm.
I look at it so differently, and it has helped me actually in that practice as well because it removed all that threat. Because now I understand fully apraxia, the brain body disconnect, the stims, and the just like the neurons just going crazy and the disconnected circuits. It makes so much sense the way she discusses that.
Right.
So, and it's even helped me in my approach with my own son because there have been times where he has turned around and slapped me.
Yeah.
And my heart was broken. And then I go back to so much training and it's like, he didn't mean that. Don't take that offensively. Like it's just a jerk from his body, just an impulse.
Right.
So she really does a fantastic job at making you see that person as an individual, not a speller, not someone with a behavior, you
Right.
see beyond that.
Right. Let's go back a little bit where you said, would you say you propped his arm up, or sometimes you just touch his elbow or whatever? Let's talk about that because, and I'm going to explain to the viewers why I'm asking this question.
Okay. So,
ASHA has put out this statement disclaiming this all began as facilitated communication, then came RPM, then S2C, then Speller's method.
right.
When it was facilitated communication, people would touch their arm, and I guess there were some people that didn't do it that well, and they felt that they were doing the movement for the speller, instead. They were guiding them too much. So now since we're trying to make Asha detract that statement and get spelling accepted in schools and by insurance and all this kind of stuff, S2C practitioners are told to never touch them ever because they don't want anything negative to be said about the method, and they never want anybody to say, well, the practitioner's doing all the work, all the movement for them, right? They're told that.
Yeah.
I don't know what Soma says about that. I know that S2C is really big on that because they really are fighting the fight against Asha. But you have found that that's what really helps, not only with Ricky, but with the other people that you've worked with too, because
Yeah,
they don't know where their body is in space, right?
exactly.
And
That's right.
so a lot of them, that's why I think Jersey and the MNRI has to do with doing OT, lifting weights, getting on the treadmill, like doing things first so that they're aware of where their body is in space, and then they sit and spell. And that tends to help. So there's certain things that can help. So I want to help other parents that they're trying the spelling with their kids and it's not working. And I think you found a little piece of the puzzle here.
Yeah. So, and I can understand that too, because sometimes I look at myself and I say, this is very easy for someone to look and to say that I am guiding Ricky's arm. When I'm in those situations, I have the person go behind me and be that support. So now they are the ones that are holding that arm. Because what I try to say to them is, you almost think about it like that patient that's had a stroke. They knew how to walk. They can't walk. Why? Because their brain is injured, right? And it takes a long time for that body to move on its own again. And although that is so ideal, and that's my end goal for Rick, I can't justify waiting a year, 2 years, 3 years for him to do it independently. I feel like this. I don't need to prove it to anybody. I'm not going to lie and say my son is saying all of these things when he's not. And I will have anybody gladly hold his elbow, because you can feel that their body is the one that's moving. Like I am literally just propping my hand under there. You can't get to letters with my hand just being there. And now, from working on it and working on it, what he has spelled to me is that he doesn't feel his arm. So how can he move it if he's not feeling it? So now we have graduated to my finger here, and he just holds my finger. And sometimes I don't even do that. Sometimes I just have to put my finger just on his arm so he can feel his arm. But it is literally that he can't feel it. And although I understand that whole thing, and I understand why nobody wants it to be discredited, because I don't want it to be either. But I can't see our kids having to suffer continuously for another however long it takes them, when by somebody supporting that arm gives them the opportunity to be open. So because of that, and I'm going to say this goes back to what I told you early on, in my moment of begging God to save my son, and I will do the right thing. I work with other children. I give hours of my time and I charge nothing. Why? Because I'm not looking to gain anything from it. And I tell those parents, look, I'm here giving you my time. I'm not taking your money. If anything, I'm pulling time away from my son. But I want you to know that yes, you should go and get the training. Yes, they need to develop that muscle memory. Yes, they need all of those skills. But in the meantime, help them hold that arm. Give them some support so that they can talk to you. They're dying inside. And I just don't get it. Like, they're dying inside.
Didn't you just do that recently with somebody, like that he wasn't getting anywhere, and as soon as you touched his elbow or gave him some support, all of a sudden he
Yes,
just
yes.
started
And I am
spelling?
still working with him. And he too is getting, his mom is getting trained in S2C. She's doing the course herself now too for S2C. He is finally spelling with her somewhat. But he specifically has said it's not all skill, it's trust and connection. And interestingly enough, the day that I met him and we spelled, he immediately spelled out, I'm going to call you Pink Lady. And that name now is what he still calls me, because he said, you have a pink aura, and it's pink that I'm seeing because you are a healer and you are going to help heal spellers and heal them before they are open, because somebody needs to say, like, hey, I'm not going to charge you. I'm just going to show you. You can do this in the meantime, but don't use that as the be all end all, because we do want them to be able to do it completely independent. I want that for my son. And we talk about it constantly. And he tells me, I want to do it on my own. I'm not strong enough yet, but please don't make me wait. And I just won't. I won't. I will give him any chance. And the other interesting part to it is I have spelled now with 5 other non-speakers. And in the very first time of meeting them and supporting that elbow, they have all been open with me.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't know,
Just by putting your finger underneath the elbow and boom, that's all they needed.
It's just support. I mean, Rick will tell me the arm almost feels like it weighs a ton. And the effort on his body and his brain to move that arm, maybe they'll get 1 letter in the beginning, but that's it. It's almost like running a marathon for them. Like they just don't have that stamina. But again, it's like, support them until they have the stamina. Don't wait. That's just my thing. I mean, it's not everybody that is going to feel that way, but I'm just saying,
Right.
5 different individuals, and all 5, by supporting that arm, has answered open-ended questions.
Wow.
And some I knew and some I didn't know from Adam. So it's not that there even was that connection with me. Now, again, is it a gift from God that this young man is seeing the pink around me and was specific with me about being a healer for that? Is that part of Ricky's journey? I mean, I believe all of that our lives are predestined. And maybe it started with Ricky, and maybe in that moment when I proclaimed to God, use me, save my son and use me. And every day I take that so serious, because I was given the ultimate gift with my son. I will never, ever take that for granted. And because of that, this is why I feel like where I am was switching careers, working with individuals with autism, fostering, adopting, and now being a unpaid practitioner, so that I can just continue to help these children in whatever way God gives me that ability. Because I don't have any other training other than what I learned from the RPM course and in my 2 sessions with Jersey, and a few online things that I have seen along the way from Communication for All, or just what I've seen with other parents. But that's really it. And yet I can hold that elbow and I can get those kids to spell with me on the first day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's, why make them wait just to prove a point? Meanwhile, they're trapped.
Right. And I understand for school, I mean, in order to get something like that in there, you can't just, listen, I know that there are people in this world that do not have their best intentions, that I would not trust them. And I would say, hey, I don't know if they're putting thoughts and putting their
input,
their input into my son. Right. I mean, I can't say that nobody would ever do that. It's happened before. We've seen people that have taken advantage of our kids and their disabilities, and I'm sure they will do it again. So I understand why it's being done. But I'm an autism mom. I have nothing to gain and my own time and energy to lose. And just trialing what I've seen work with Ricky, just saying, what is it? Why can they spell immediately with arm support? How is that even possible? Okay, with my own son, I took that one for granted. He's my son. But now we're talking about 5 other individuals, and everyone can do it.
Hmm.
So it just tells me, like, and I go back to what Soma said, there's nothing wrong with those brains. It's that apraxia and the brain body disconnect. And when you understand that so much, you understand that, like, they cannot support that gross motor. It's just, that's such a difficult thing to work on. Think about anybody in exercising, right? If you don't exercise, you can do a minute on a treadmill, as opposed to someone who's always doing it, and you do it longer, right? So I feel like it's on that line. It's just, it's there. They can do it. It's not some special skill to become open. They're already in there. So now you just have to help them a little bit until they do develop those skills of being able to reach for it themselves. But I really believe that they're open. Their brain has to work so hard to get those words out. If you think about, like, almost like with us too, right? I can talk to you so easily, but then if you start asking me some emotional questions, I'll probably stutter and bumble and everything else. It's hard for me, right? So I just feel like it's all, on the same lines. I'm not going to just talk about everything personal to anybody. And the one young man confirmed that to me. He told me it is a trust and connection that gets them to be open with somebody, which maybe
Well, a
that's why.
lot of parents are frustrated that their kids are open with the practitioner and not with them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've heard that, and I see that with the one individual that I work with. It's been a couple of months now, and his mom gets some things from him, but not everything.
Have
So
you ever asked him why he's not open with his mom?
it's a trust and connection thing. Not that he doesn't trust his mother, but it's hard for him to bring all these emotions out with her.
Hmm.
Why? I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe it's so big, and maybe he's just not ready to handle all those emotions
Mhm.
with her, because it's a lot. I mean, when Ricky became open with me, the things he was telling me, and then he spells out, "Mom, I'm crying," and yet you don't see any of that, but
Oh.
he'll tell me he's crying.
Huh.
So I don't know, if it's that, if it's just such a big emotional thing. Like, I don't like to compare Ricky to anybody, because we've been through so much medically, and it's just been like, our relationship has been so intense from early on. So I don't know if maybe that's why the open spelling was so quick with him, because of how intense our and close our relationship is, because he relies on me besides the autism. I mean, to meet his medical needs and be able to see everything, because now he can't tell me.
Mm.
And those things early on could have taken his life if I wasn't so closely connected to him.
Yeah, so let's talk about the things he started talking about when he became open.
Okay. Well, and if you remember, I called you because I was so scared, right? It started off with some very evil things, and I couldn't understand what was going on. It went from talking about a hayride and talking about the things that he liked, to going into, I don't like my sister, my father's a jerk, people think I'm dumb and retarded, I might want to kill myself, until I started to say, what is going on here? Because these things are all, very, very evil. And then as I was saying things to him, he spells out to me, Satan is in the garage. And that, I didn't know how to handle that one. What I would like to say for the parents, and I strongly believe in this, is to understand you're probably going to hear things about Satan, and face these things, because every single one of the individuals that I have worked with have all talked about Satan. So
They're all talking about Satan.
Every one of them had said something.
Okay, so these 5 kids that you're talking about, these are not necessarily people that you know from church,
No,
right? So because some
none of
people
them are
will,
from the church.
but this is the thing, like some people will say, "Oh, well, those kids are talking about these spiritual things because their parents are always in church and they're talking about they must be talking about these spiritual things at home, and that's where these kids get it from." I don't think that's the case.
No, no. In fact, out of all of them, Ricky is the only one that goes to church. Well, now the second young man goes to church. But no, no. In fact, the one is very afraid of it because of the whole Satan thing, and it's understandable because I was scared to death too, and I know my faith, and I even questioned my faith too, thinking like, oh, am I, do I know the Bible? Do I know my faith? Like, it was so bad that I too questioned myself. And I had to have a priest come in. I had to have the house blessed more than once. In the last couple of months, I had the priest come in and do the exorcism prayers in here. And I think we are over the hump at this point. Ricky has said to me that Satan has tried his best in every avenue to get him, but mom is too strong. And so he's not bothering him now. But you know what? We know that that's not going to be the case. We know Satan will never give up and give us complete peace. So, but no, it is very real. It is happening. Rick has gone into detail about even why his own voice, because like I told you earlier on, that Rick used to speak and now he doesn't speak really much at all. And he was able to have some conversation and back and forth. And at one point he had said to me, because Satan scares him from using his voice. So I don't know, how much that is going to stay this way, but recently he has said to me, get ready, I'm getting stronger, I will be able to speak again. And I've heard a few things come out that really threw me back, because I was like, wow, that was a full sentence, it was very appropriate, and I haven't heard that from him in a long time. So could it be that we're over that hump? I don't know. But Satan is alive and well and harassing these kids, and they all say that he scares them, and he tells them that their parents are going to die, or their parents have cancer, or my mom is going to go to work and not come back for me, because they know that without that voice they can't scream for help. So, and Rick has told me those same things, that Satan actually torments him. And I've had to remove things from his room. And this is pretty recent too, because he would say, Satan is hiding behind that picture. Or Satan is making me think I have my father's picture in his room. Satan's making me think that Pop is looking at me. And all of these different things. And then he wanted me to start taking down the cross. And then I was like, you know what? We're done now. So I had talked to the priest, and he gave me a container of holy water. And he said, you go in there and you pray over that room and you spray that holy water on things, and keep that going routinely, but don't take the things down. And so that's what we had been doing. And now that has subsided. But we are maybe 7 months into this journey now. And the first 6 months have been so horrible with the Satan and the spiritual attacks and the fear, really hard to deal with. And so I feel like that's something parents should know too and be prepared for, especially if they themselves do not believe in God or have a strong faith, because you are going to be scared. And if you don't believe that God will never leave you and will get you through that, you are going to be even more scared. And our kids read our minds and our thoughts, and that's just going to compound their fears.
Yes, and that's why I'm going to do an interview with somebody that specializes in deliverance, so that she can help the parents. But that's why I wanted to bring you on first to talk about this, because Ricky's not the only one, right? And I've done interviews where the kids see angels and they see Jesus and they go to heaven, but they don't want to talk about the Satan stuff,
Yeah.
but it's very real.
Very real.
And parents, you have to help your kids through this. And here's the other thing. I don't really care if you don't believe it. I don't care if these parents don't believe that Jesus is real or that Satan's not real. It really doesn't matter what you believe
Yeah.
because these kids are all seeing it and they need to know if you have a speller that's going to become open, most of them immediately start talking about this spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and Ricky was like the first thing he started talking about.
Yeah. He was talking about that really before anything else. And
And it's
that's
like
what,
they have to get it out. It's like, don't ask me about other stuff. I have to tell you what I'm experiencing every day.
yes, but I'm going to tell you, when you're not prepared, which I wasn't, because I did not know this, I thought this was a Ouija board. And I went to my priest, well, actually to the pastor of the church, and I asked, is this a Ouija board? Because I don't understand what's happening here. Like, everybody's talking about how wonderful spelling is, and my son is talking about possession. And he is seeing Satan and all of this stuff. And so now they had said to me no, but they had advised me to stop. They had advised me to not to talk about it, that the things that he's seeing, it's not real, and that it could be psychiatric. And so I was like, really? You know, but you know what? If you don't believe, you could very easily go down that road. And then there goes that individual going on med after med after med, thinking that something's wrong with them mentally. When that devil is alive and well and trying to hurt our children and to stop them from speaking by putting the fear in them and then taking it the next level to the parents, to where the parents might say, that's enough. I'm not going through this. I don't want my child, to be scared and tortured and everything else. But it's still happening.
Right. Well, one of your friends doesn't want to spell because they're afraid of this.
Yeah.
They don't want their son to start talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the problem is it's not going away for her son. It's just she feels better because she doesn't have to hear about it. I mean, let's really look at it that way. It's not really going away just because he's not spelling. It's still there. So you really, to all the parents, you need to learn about this because you have to help your kids through this.
Yeah. And that's why, like I had mentioned, that I feel like before anybody starts to spell, that everybody should be made aware of it, maybe from the practitioners, whoever is working with them, or in something like this where the parents are saying, believe me, this is real and it's scary. And if you don't believe now, start going to church. At least go to church with your child and protect them. Whatever your beliefs are, protect your child. But I think if the parents had an understanding before going in, like if I would have known, not that much could have been done differently because we already go to church, we already pray, we do all of these things.
Right.
But then, as you know, we were in a Christian church and my son was very headstrong on, no, I need to be in the Catholic church. I need to receive Jesus in the consecrated host. He speaks constantly on how Mother Mary protects them from Satan. So he needs to pray the rosary. He needs to pray to her. He needs me to pray to her too. And she needs to be honored because she is the perfect mother in heaven that can protect us from evil. So I don't know if that was the complete change for us. Ricky needed to go to confession because he said that was going to help him to be free of those sins. And to be honest with you, I was shocked because I said, what could you have to possibly confess? But we sat together and he spelled it out and I said, oh. And again, I go back to, there's nothing wrong with this.
Right.
He's got the same thoughts.
Nothing wrong with their head.
Everything's that we do. He's just not saying it. So there is sin there. And he needed to confess it. And I took a second young man and did the same thing with him because he also desired confession. And he went and he wrote it out with me. And he too had sin. And we went in there. So, that was different. we had been in the Christian church for 11 years.
Mhm.
We were.
Yeah, non-denominational church you're talking about.
Mhm.
A lot of churches don't talk about Satan. It makes people uncomfortable, so they don't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's real.
It's real, and it's a real serious problem for our spellers.
And what I'm hearing from a lot of other spellers is that for some reason, the devil really hates spelling. And he
Yes.
does whatever he can to get these kids to stop communicating through spelling.
Well, if you think about it, look at what they're saying, right?
Mhm.
So I would say in Ricky alone, Satan was able to continue to torment on him on a daily basis without spelling. I personally didn't give Ricky medication because of his medical issues, but I often wonder with these meltdowns and these banging the heads. Now, I don't know. Could it be? Could it not be? Seizures. One young man said to me, spelled to me, tell Satan to stop causing my seizures.
Mm.
Could this be because we are not, or they're not spelling, or we didn't know? They're on a ton of psychiatric meds. But that, all of this thing now, like, it does make me wonder, like, is it really a psychiatric problem? Or are they just so paralyzed and crippled from the fear from Satan, and they can't tell us? I can't imagine being in a horror movie with no way out and no one to tell, right? And your own parents, that are supposed to be there to help you and protect you. I think to myself, my God, Ricky's trying to tell me these things. And I would say, Ricky, stop that stimming. Ricky, go lay down, or here's a gummy, calm yourself down. Let me throw a weighted blanket on you. Like all of these things that we would do to calm these things. Like I said, I don't know those answers, but could it be that Satan is gripping them with so much fear? Because I only can go by what Ricky said to me. And he said that he has been paralyzed with fear and that Satan scares him so much that he can't use his voice.
Does he talk about demons or just Satan?
Demons too. And it was interesting because the one day, and this was maybe about a month ago, he told me after I did an exorcism prayer in his room that the demons were eating each other. And I was like, ew, that's sick. But then I read something from somebody else's post that their child said it. And I thought, oh my God. But then again, I mean, could you imagine these poor individuals seeing this? It scares me just to think about it. And they're seeing it. So now it's a totally unrelated people. Like, we don't know that family that said that, but it was posted there and exactly in the words that Ricky said.
Yeah, I think I've heard that from somebody else too. You have
It's
to watch my interview with Ashton and his mom, Corey Peterman. Ashton's only 8, and he talks about these things too. So you got to go back and watch that.
Yeah, I will. It's very fun.
What about angels?
He talks about angels. He has a guardian angel. I have a guardian angel. He told me my guardian angel's name. He can see guardian angels of some people, but he doesn't talk about that much anymore. But in the beginning, he did tell me that I have a guardian angel and her name is Hope. And God assigned me Hope because that's what I've had to have all of this time to carry me through with Ricky. But he has also spelled out to me that he is my angel and that he was assigned to me from when I was born. And he has seen me through my entire life. And he has told me things about my life that obviously he was not born. And he has told me that he knew that he was going to be born to me. He knew things that were going to happen to him. And he can go into detail about his transplant, about conversations that we had, about different experiences that we had while he was vented. And
Does he remember that time?
I mean, he was 6 months old, so I don't even know how he could possibly, especially he was
Listen, there's
dedicated.
so much stuff out. Like I've heard like somebody remembering when he was born,
Yeah,
remember
he
being born.
remembers all that.
I-
Okay. So he told me, all right, when I found out I was pregnant, I used to rub my stomach and I used to say Serena because the way I was carrying, everybody said you're going to have a girl. And interestingly enough, now my boss said to me, I see a pink aura around you. Well, I'm saying, okay, then I must be having a girl.
Mhm.
And so once we had the ultrasound, we found out we were having a boy. Well, then that conversation stopped, and I never mentioned Serena ever again. And then Ricky brought this to my attention, and he said to me, "You used to rub your stomach and call me Serena." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "I remember you doing that." And he said, "You wanted a girl." And I said, "Well, I was told I had a pink aura, so I assumed I was having a girl." And I said, "You know what? I mean, of course, like most moms, we do want a girl with a dress up and whatever." I said, "But as soon as I found out I was having a boy, I was so happy." And yeah, so he was like, "Well, I remember all of that, and I know that that's true." And then I know like that you wanted me after that. Then uh, during the time that he was on the ventilator and very sick in intensive care, there was a little girl in intensive care next to us. She was on a ventilator and she was dying. She had the stomach cancer. Her mother called us into the room and said, "Could you please hold my hand and pray with me when they turn her off? Because I don't want to be alone in here." So my son's dying in the one room, and my husband and I are in this room praying for this mom. And her and I had conversations throughout the couple of months because she had a sign on her door that said "Miracle in Progress," and it caught my attention because I said, "Wow, this mother has an insane like hope, and I want to be connected to her and to get that." And so, anyway, so fast forward, as soon as the little girl passed away, the mother turned around and said to my husband and I, "Now go back to the room, go take a shower, and take care of your son." Samantha died because she is now Ricky's angel.
Oh, wow.
And so I kept in touch with her a little bit afterwards, but then we lost contact. But I found a letter in my Bible, and I said, "Oh," I'm like, "Look, and here was the obituary for Samantha." Now, this was only like maybe 2 months ago, where Ricky already spelling and everything. And I said, "Oh, Ricky, look what I found." And I started to tell him the story, and he's like, "You don't have to tell me. I already know." So I was like, "Well, what do you know?" And he spells the whole thing about Samantha. And he said, "I want you to know that Samantha has been with you the whole time, that she knows that you frequently talk about her. And she said to tell you that she died so that I could live to help you." He knew
Wow.
all about this, and he was on a ventilator, medicated,
Yeah, yeah. Wow. And only 6 months old.
and only 6 months old. Yes. Yeah. And he knew all of this about Samantha.
Wow.
So it's pretty wild because, we know that he was with me before he was born, and he was in this role, and now he told me this actually today, that God has given him a clean bill of health, and God is giving me a long life because his job for me is to help the spellers, and he goes, "My dad will be given a long life so that he could help me so that you can help them." And he explains, and that's where the pink aura comes from, because I'm apparently a healer. And mind you, it was wild because the pink aura was around me when I was pregnant.
Right.
And here, fast forward 23
But
years.
then you gave birth to a boy that needed healing.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, it was very fascinating, the whole thing, for it to come full circle with the pink aura.
Yeah.
I didn't realize at that time, that that's what it would be, but
I've learned recently that different kids see different colors on people. Like, for instance, one might look at you and you are green to them because green means healing to them or something, like because they process the color, the aura colors differently.
The young boy that I work with, he actually said to me one day, this is maybe a couple weeks ago, that my aura now has turned red. And I was like, oh, why? And he spelled, because it's been a while since I helped somebody to spell, and I have all of this healing built up in me, and God is getting ready to send me somebody else to work with. And that will take my aura back to pink.
Huh.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
See, now Houston, I think to him, red is not a good color. It means that you're too bossy and controlling and, something like
Interesting.
that. Yeah. Yeah. And I assume he sees other people's auras too, Ricky, not just you.
Well, this isn't Ricky. This is the other boy that
I
I'm
know,
working.
but Ricky doesn't Ricky see your pink aura though?
No,
Oh, he doesn't. Oh, so Ricky doesn't see auras.
no,
Okay, but the other boy does. He's the
the
one who
other
saw your
boy does.
pink. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay. So I'm trying to get to all the different things that he sees and does and what his gifts are. So he sees angels, he sees demons, he sees Jesus, right?
He sees Jesus. Yep. And at one point he was, now I don't know what, sometimes if I'm getting everything from him, but at one point he was telling me, because we were thinking about moving from here. And our house is on the lake. And he was telling me, because I go outside and I do my rosary on the deck and I look at the lake. He was telling me that Mother Mary meets me on the lake to do the rosary. And he says, Mom, he goes, look in the corner. There's a cardinal up there. And that's Jesus is that cardinal. And he's coming to tell you to keep going. So he's seeing different things. He's seeing Jesus. He's seeing Mother Mary, and the angels he's talked about. And he sees my dad, and he sees one of my aunts.
And where does he see them? Does he see them like are these people showing up in the house or he sees them in heaven or is there just sort of portal that they're just sort of always just walking back and forth like they're just sort of living in this spirit realm?
With my aunt, one day he just walked out of the house and out of the blue just looked up and he goes, oh, look, Aunt Ro is up in the clouds with Jesus. And then I started to ask him about that, but he wasn't spelling at the time. But that sentence came out, which was very strange. And then we didn't get anything else from that. My dad, he says he talks to him and he guides him and gives him like strength to fight Satan, because when he's scared, he says Pop-Pop's there with him and comforts him. Mother Mary, I'm told that she's out by the lake. And she meets me there when I do the rosary. And when he sees the cardinals, that's Jesus coming to me there for some reason.
Does he go to heaven at all?
He used to talk about the hill and going quite often before. Not so much now.
Okay, well, I asked about heaven, not the hill, but I think that they're connected. But the hill, I have heard from another speller that they were instructed to stop talking about the hill.
Okay.
So it's not that they don't go, it's just they all stop talking about it.
Well, it's weird because with Rick, he would go into our bathroom. And that was his time on the hill. And I would ask him why, and he said, well, because that's where I could go and I have privacy. Nobody will come in there and bother me. And he would be in that bathroom a lot. You don't really even see him going there at all anymore.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's because he has a friend now, because he developed this friendship with this young boy over here.
Mhm.
And he said they talk telepathically.
Right.
And maybe that meets his needs now. I'm not too
Right.
sure. But he hasn't really talked much about it. But he talks about seeing Jesus, talking to him. He doesn't say specifically where he's at, but he'll say, Jesus told me, and then whatever he wants to say, or Jesus told me to tell you. Well, actually, he uses the words bread of life when he's referring to Jesus now.
Mhm.
He used to say King Jesus, and now it's always bread of life, or my great God. Where he'll say, my great God said to tell you to stop worrying. Or my great God said that don't look at numbers on the blood test, I'm fine. Or my great God said to say that another speller needs your help, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he does refer to bread of life and my great God often.
All right, so you mentioned the telepathy a couple times. I think what's interesting is that the two of you are connected, right?
Yeah.
And you've said because of everything that you've been through, you feel like the two of you are, more connected than usual. But when he's spelling with you're one of those couples that run into this trouble. Is like, wait a minute, you know what he's going to spell, and is it like, wait, am I hearing his thoughts, or is he putting his thoughts in my head, or am I putting my thought in his head? Like, whose thought is this? And
Yeah.
it can get confusing.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I can catch him immediately because I will think the most craziest thoughts, and then he'll spell those words out to me. And then I say to him, and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm in your thoughts. But it's very unnerving. I'm not going to lie, because literally he is constantly in all of my thoughts. So, I mean, even if I briefly look at something that has any sexual content or inappropriate language, he will come over immediately and say, get off there. He knows what I'm doing. He knows what I'm thinking. He I mean, there really isn't any sort of privacy that I can have at all. But what's interesting enough is it's not just me. He's so closely connected to this young man that he was staff at Evermore. And he's just such a great young kid. And I was like telling him about spelling and showing him. And I was like, look, if you hold Rick's arm, he'll spell with you, right? Well, 2 weeks in, he started spelling with Ricky. And he spells everything with him. And he came to me like very early on, and he was like, I don't know if this is going to work out. He said, because Ricky just told me the name of somebody that there is no way that he knows. Nobody knows about this person, only me. And I said, well, and I started telling him about Ricky reading my mind and the thoughts and whatever. And he goes, is it okay if I question some things? And we did. I said, okay, go ahead. I didn't stay in the room with them because obviously it was very personal. And he came back out to me and he said, in front of me to Ricky, he said, if you cannot stop crossing these boundaries, I won't work with you. He goes, because I don't like that you are in all of my personal thoughts here. Whatever his thoughts were, it unnerved him enough to say, like, that is it. And he had to actually have this whole conversation with Ricky saying that, and what is in my thoughts, since you cannot help yourself, you need to know that it's my thoughts and they can't be told to anybody else. So we struggle even like in those things.
Mm-hmm. What I love about this is it makes people check. You check yourself, check your thoughts. You better check everything that you're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and this is like TMI, but like, even like my husband and I are like really like uncomfortable sometimes because it's like, hey, Ricky. So I will like say to him, like in my own mind, like, this is not your business and you need to go and occupy your mind with something else.
Right.
But I mean, he has called out many people. My poor daughter, she was talking to an ex-boyfriend we didn't know, and not a big deal. But he spelled out in front of me, and you should know that she's talking to so and so, and this is what he said to her, and she was like, oh my God. So it's like it's wild how he's picking up like everybody around him, and it's not even like a close family member, although with me it's like beyond ridiculous because he will tell me before I'm even thinking about it, and then I'm like, oh wow, like this was my plan to do this.
Right. Yeah, but I have asked about that before. Like, what about when you're in the bathroom or you going to need to be you want to be intimate with your husband or something, like how do you get them out, and there's supposed to be boundaries there.
Yes, and he doesn't have those boundaries. And when I tell him about it, his comeback to me is that he loves me so much, and if I love him that much, why would I need to have a boundary with him? So, that's our new thing that we've been working on is like,
Yeah.
I am your mom, and I am also an individual,
Yeah.
and there are some things that I'm just not comfortable with you
Right.
being involved in. And I need to think about some things
Right.
sometimes, and maybe my thoughts are not correct,
Sometimes you
but
have to process some
you
things in
have to
your mind.
process.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. But
Yeah.
he's in them.
Ask Katie because there is a way to block it. There's something about a blue light or something like that can block thoughts.
Oh, okay. It's all very fascinating though.
It
Like,
is. Have you heard of remote viewing where they can see through your eyes? They can drop in on you and like read what you're reading and see what you
so
see. Because the last interview I just did was with Zahari, who's blind. He was born blind. Okay, his physical body cannot see anything, but he can remote view through his mother's eyes.
wow. I mean, I didn't hear that terminology,
Mhm.
but sometimes Ricky will tell me he will stare into my eyes, but he'll say to me, I don't want you looking into my soul when you're looking into my eyes. So he has said he can look into my soul, but he does not like that I do it.
That's looking in, that's not looking out.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
because here's the thing. Zahari knew about my lemonade retreats because he has dropped in
Wow.
through remote viewing. Like he could, it's almost like it's not astral projecting. I don't know what it is, but there's a way where he can drop in. And Kelly Werbicki is a teacher that I interviewed as well, and one of her students does that. She said she was on her paddleboard in the morning and the dog fell in the water or something like that. And then when she was spelling with him in the afternoon, he told her everything that happened. He's like, why don't you wear a life vest? And the dog fell in. Da, da. She's like, how did you know that? And he says, well, I drop in on you sometimes.
I wouldn't be surprised, but that's something that I will ask. It's definitely something I will ask. I mean, it's wild, like how they're so.
Mhm.
I know Rick is able to communicate with my dog. I have three, but he can only communicate with the one.
Okay.
And actually, his friend also communicates with this same dog. Don't know what it is about him, but Ricky goes to Alaire Farms in Wall Township, and he communicates with. He says there's a donkey that's there, and he said that was the first animal that was there. And he says he's very funny and tells him stories of things that have happened through the years there.
Hmm.
And he likes to talk to the chickens because they have a lot of funny things to say. Um, but he was able to tell me at the one farm that we went to, he said the goat was telling him that they're mistreated there and that the only food that they're getting is the food that people are putting their money into the machines and giving. And he said everything is clean and looks beautiful, but that's not the reality of it based on what the goats were telling him. But then when we went to Alaire Farms, he said he confirmed with all of them that they feed them on regular schedules and that the staff is very nice to them. Yeah.
I would have thought you said a horse. I
He
would.
he talks to the horse too, but the donkey that's there is very vocal, and the goats.
Well, there is a story in the Bible of a donkey talking, right?
Yeah.
So,
So
all right, how about we bring Ricky in and let's talk to him a little bit.
okay, hold on one second. He's almost done. He went into the shower with Rick real quick.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to see like what were the other things I wanted to tell you
Mm-hmm.
about that was new. You know what? He prophesized too. So I gotta tell you,
Oh, yes.
we went to a church function,
Yeah.
and I don't like that this was happening because he told me later, he was like, Mom, everybody is looking at me like I'm so great, but it's not me. it's Jesus that is telling me these things. I don't want the recognition.
Yeah.
But he told one of the women, your husband is a good Christian man, and you need to pay more attention to him because he's feeling like his marriage to you is falling apart. And it's the truth.
Mhm.
That's what's happening there, with them. And then we have another one in the church that her husband was having some sort of financial issue, and he spoke all about it. And he said, he needs to rectify some things, and then everything will be okay. I mean, the stuff that he knew, and then he was just like going through like all of these people one by one, and
He
then
did
like,
it at the beach bash. He was spelling for a bunch of people, and we were in the pool, and he said to one of the moms there, and she came and told me afterwards because she just her jaw dropped. She's like, what had happened was her husband had just lost his job like just a day or two before this event, and he said to her, don't worry about your husband's job. God has a better job for him. And don't worry about your mom. Don't worry about your mom's health. She's going to be fine. And the mom's had just gotten a cancer diagnosis. And
wow.
and the husband just lost the job, and they had not told anybody. Nobody knew. She's like, how did he know this? She says, I haven't even told his mother. Like, we've told nobody yet. Like, how
Wow.
did he know? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, he gets it straight from the source.
That's what he says. He
Hmm.
said Jesus tells him these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. And I find that to be unnerving sometimes, and sometimes when he looks at me, I'm like, because I'm not one to like doctors. I
Yeah.
tend to have that white coat syndrome. And because of all these things, I'm always like on the edge of my seat, like waiting for Ricky to say something about my health. And it makes me nervous. And I'm like, oh gosh, And sometimes he'll tell, like the other day, he said to me, Mom, he goes, you really look pale and you're making me nervous. You should go to the doctor and go get checked. Now, granted, like I had no makeup on. So like I knew why I was pale, because I know what I look like without makeup. And I don't know, if he was speeding off of that. I'm like, well, thank God I already know that I'm fine. Because I said it wasn't that long ago I was at the doctor. I mean, do I know I'm 100% fine? No, but I'm like, ugh, that kind of stuff. It's unnerving. The level that they know and can tell you, and
That doesn't bother me at all. I'm used to prophetic stuff, and going to a church that's into the whole prophetic movement. They bring people in that are prophets, and everybody does. They look up to them and they want a word, they want, do you have a word for me and stuff? So I could see how the church would react toward him, because they do put those people up on a pedestal too much,
yeah.
where it's just a gift is all it is. It's just a gift from God.
I mean, it's true, but I can see where it would happen with his church family because we've been there for 11 years, and he's just, our Ricky with the autism, and everybody
Yeah.
just loves him and protects him. And now here comes spelling, and now he's no longer cute Ricky with the autism. They're like, oh,
It's like,
here
oh,
comes
what?
Ricky. What does he have to say?
Yeah.
You know? And so, sometimes like he'll say to me he feels uncomfortable by it. Like he will be able to tell somebody, something, but he feels like it's he doesn't want that recognition
Mhm.
that, all of these are all God's gifts, and God gets the glory, and he shouldn't in any of it. Like he's that vessel that's being used.
Right. What does he think his call in life is, do you think?
Actually, he told me that he's to walk alongside me and to help me to heal others. I find that to be like strange, beautiful, whatever, because, I'm retired and my plan was to just coast through the rest of my life. Just, I love, Evermore and doing my thing there, but I wasn't looking for like anything intense to do. But he's always telling me that God has the calling on my life to work with spellers. Now, what capacity is that going to be in? Because again, I do not want a penny for anything, because I want those early spellers that are struggling. I'm not really looking for that long term of working on the skills. I want to help that family that is at that point where it's like, I know that my child can do this, but we're not there yet. But I don't want to see that child have to wait.
Right.
So I think that's where Ricky is putting himself in, as like he's leading me to those people, and then I step back. I feel like I'm that short-term thing, and I wonder if that's why my angel is Hope, because maybe it is only that one time of coming and just saying, hey, look, your child can do this, and then that's the end of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, come on, Ricky.
Hey, Rick, come talk to me.
Freshly showered, Ricky.
Nice and clean. I bet you smell good.
Yeah. All right, let's get that board going for you.
Now, Mom. Mommy. What's wrong? I'm not a king. You are the king.
Mom, tell Cindy that she looks
I
beautiful.
don't
Aw,
remember.
thank you.
You don't remember. I'm afraid of things. You're not to let her. Where are you? I don't believe that.
Go ahead.
I get it. You're not to let her out either.
Hey, can you drop the camera down so we can see him spelling? What I want people to see, because Ricky fascinates me, because he'll do like these verbal loops, but spell something completely different than what's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
And that is just so fascinating to me that he does that. So I want people to watch his finger, and he's fast on that board too.
And he's fast. Yep.
He's very fast.
All right, go ahead.
Let me you can call out the letters as he's doing it if you want.
My great gift is prophecy and feeling the pain of others.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel physical pain or emotional pains, or both?
Both. Listen to my mom
Yes, it's fine.
talk about my transplant,
Silly.
and you'll see
My friend. It is state of mind. But
the
it is state of
emotional
mind.
pain on my face. Actually, that's something that I'm just learning about tonight, that he feels
Not silly.
these things. I did not know that.
What he's feeling,
State of
your
mind.
emotional pain?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Mm.
He says, Mom, I fear the feelings
That's the big.
as well
That's
as the fear. My mom has a fear of me dying, and she carries that
don't work now.
everywhere
Mommy,
she goes. And
don't.
it affects me greatly. And that I feel like that goes back to like our connection is just so close to because of everything, that happened. Although I don't realize, how much I still feel that apparently I do, right?
Mhm.
And he plays off of every single one of,
You have to learn how to, you have to turn that over to God. You need to release that to him and trust
yeah,
him.
yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, I have sat in that, Cindy. I can't even tell you,
I know, but there's a day that will come. He'll show you what to do. God will show you what to do, like how to release it, right?
yeah,
There's like there's something that I've learned that there's like a crossroads moment that comes, where you just are like, enough, I'm done. I'm releasing this,
yeah.
so he'll show you what to do.
What else you gonna say about that? Mom has stopped.
Why? Why? Why?
Mom has stopped.
What?
Hold on.
Gotta get that. Not there. Gotta get that.
About
Gotta get that.
feeling. Mom has stopped caring about feeling sorry for me and gives me the ability to greatly make decisions for myself now. So, one of the things that he had spoken to me about was that he wants to be an adult and he wants to um, have opinions and thoughts and to do like what anybody else would do. So, one of the things that I've been really like working hard on with him now that he has this one-to-one is he has his own wallet and his money. This year for Christmas, he spelled out specifically all the gifts that he wanted to buy for each individual person and why, and then told us about it when we opened our gifts, which was the most beautiful thing to, I mean, the thought process he put into all the gifts was just incredible. And the ability to do it. And he's telling me now he wants to wear only Hollister clothes because he wants to look cool. That all these years I've gotten him things that just fit nice and they're good, but they're not name brands. He wants specifically Nike and he wants Hollister cologne. And he'll tell me about his hair and how he wants it done. For a while, he wanted to grow a goatee, and he did. So he's feeling so good about himself now, and he tells me that finally, for once in his life, he feels like a man and a person with ideas and thoughts that are valid and heard. And that's what he's saying. He's like, I stopped treating him in that way and actually letting him decide for himself. Yes. And she gives me the ability to and she gives me the ability to get in trouble by my decision making. Right.
To what? To get in trouble?
Yeah. So,
well, that's how you learn.
Exactly. He wants to spend money on certain things, and then if he doesn't have any more, well, he has to wait until he gets his next little paycheck. Or if he says so he wants to say something to somebody, I might not say it, I might be kinder about things, but he wants to say it, he spells it, and I speak it for him. So I said, yeah, he has the option to get what he wants off of his chest because we would do it. Sometimes we say things we shouldn't and we know better, but we still say it because we have the ability. So I let him do the same thing now.
Looking at Ricky, I remember at the beach bash like 2 years ago, we all treat him like a little boy because it was just cute. He's just like this cute little boy, and he won that toy penguin, and you sent me a picture of him with the stuffed penguin when he went to bed and his PJs and everything. And now it's completely different. And now like he's this young man and he wants to wear Hollister cologne and
Yeah.
and be like an adult and everything. And that was all in there. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's amazing once they learn how to communicate like this.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if moms would be afraid of that too, because moms, we like to baby our kids.
Well, I mean, I will tell you, I struggle with that, especially with, you know what? Sometimes he will curse at me on these boards, and he's mad about something that I do, or I've tried to like sit him down and make him eat something, and he said to me the one day, he's like, "I don't effing like it," and he's like, "You don't eat things that you don't like, so why should I be forced to eat something that I don't like because I can't say it?"
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I was like, "You're right." I think that was like my big eye-opening moment there is like, how much am I infusing my will on you?
Mm-hmm.
Even though my intentions are good, how much is me deciding for you? And so I really try so hard with that now. And it is sad because he told me this year that he hasn't believed in Santa since he's 7, but he's been doing it all these years for me.
Wow.
He doesn't believe in the Easter Bunny. So Christmas this year was different. Like actually he told me word for word exactly what I bought him. So it wasn't even a surprise. I didn't show him.
That's true. That's true. When they're telepathic, how are you going to hide their Christmas gifts, right? You
Didn't
can't because
hide
they
any
know.
of it. He
Yeah.
told me. And then he told me, well, you bought me this color I didn't like, so I'm sorry, Mom, but take it back once I open it. So like all of that was different because I always did those real babyish things with hurry up, go to bed, Santa's coming, the reindeer, and I missed it. So like
Mm-hmm.
I did feel that loss, like you know, with the typical child, you kind of like ease out of that. You have
Right.
that
Yeah.
conversation, and this was just like a quick shutdown of
Yeah.
all of those things. But at the same token, I'm just so happy for him
Mm-hmm.
because he spells out to me that he feels so blessed that I give him these abilities to do these things and I'm letting him be this adult. And so, because of that, he has all of these hopes and dreams now. And he said, or he spelled, he never thought that he would ever have a chance to ever do any of this in his life. And he too himself is still processing that he's actually getting to go where he wants to go or not go, eat what he wants to or not, and to live a life he told me that's worth living finally.
Oh,
And
the life that's worth
that
living.
broke
Yeah.
my heart, but it
Yeah.
gave me encouragement at the same time that he said his life is finally worth living to him. Yeah, what do you want to say about that?
Look, you see, I'm reading. Look, you see, I'm reading.
Mom has a great love for me, and she sacrifices her
It's kind of big.
her own feelings so that I can grow as a man.
Grow as a man.
Good saying it. And learn to give my heart to the Lord
What?
and still
You see?
have a life that I
Well,
can
you see?
enjoy
Great question.
as
Say it loudly.
having a
Say it loudly.
man's
Say it loudly. Say it loudly.
perspective on things. Yeah,
Say it
because
loudly. Say it loudly.
he does honor Jesus, but he has also said like he wants to try going to a bar. He wants to try going to a club. He wants to see and experience things that a young man would experience.
Mm-hmm.
Things that might not be something that would be very,
Godly.
yeah. Hold on. Mom has an ability to sugarcoat the truth, so I don't
And
look bad.
I don't know.
But the reality is,
understand.
I'm a
I don't understand anybody.
vital young man and I have desires. So I want to experience all that
I don't know.
a young man my age would enjoy.
Like going to Hooters.
You know what? Interestingly that you said that, because that's one of the first things he had said he wanted to go to Hooters in Atlantic City.
Look at you.
Okay, but Ricky,
Oh, look at
if your
you.
mom is looking at stuff that she's not supposed to be looking at on the internet, you go over and you tell her you need to stop
No.
looking at that, right?
Look at
So how
you.
come you say that to her, but she can't say that to you?
Wait a second. What?
Um,
Need you.
my mom feels so sad when I
Wait a second.
get to
Wait a
grown up
second. Wait a second. Wait a second.
for her liking.
Wait
But
a second. Wait a second.
the reality is, I'm
Wait a
a
second.
man
Wait a second.
and I
Wait a second.
want
What?
certain
What?
abilities.
No. No. No.
And
No.
I think about this too, like, so at this part that we're in now, like, it's so fascinating, and I feel good and I feel bad about it, but I just say to myself, like,
No.
how awesome for him. Like, imagine like being this baby and you're not a baby, and now all of a sudden, because of this letterboard, now he can actually be the age that he is,
Gotta work together.
experience these things. And he said to me that he's so grateful that I'm willing to let him try it. Because he understands that it's hard for me too. Mom has to bear the brunt of all the feelings I have so that I can actually get to experience all that I desire. So yeah, again, like we talked about how, a few months ago he was my baby and I was buying him Sesame Street and toys and stuff. And like now we have some really difficult conversations like I would have with my young adult son
All those toys in there.
about these things. And it's
All those toys in there.
sometimes it's really hard for me to
With all those
process
toys in there.
as he is talking about toys and he's repeating Sesame Street things
With all
and then
those toys in
spelling
there.
about his feelings with women.
My favorite
Yeah.
toy.
But
With
The-
all
his
those toys in there.
verbal, the stuff
With
that
toys in there.
he's saying, are these
With
like
all those toys
looped
in
out
there.
of movies or
that's from Sesame Street.
of Sesame Street? Okay.
With all those
And,
toys in there.
Here,
With all those
why
toys
do
in there.
you perseverate on Sesame Street?
Put all
My
those toys in the tub. Put all those toys in the tub. Put all those
desire
toys in the
is
tub.
to
Put all those toys in the tub. With all those toys in the
Okay.
tub.
my desire is to
Now, I love this, Brad.
make the
I didn't see it.
stimming
I cannot give
go
Brad
away.
a number.
but I'm
Oh, remember?
not there yet. It's very strong because it's what sustained me when I was young and isolated from the world.
Oh,
So those 4 years, 2 of those years, we were behind glass. And then for 6 months, we lived at the Ronald McDonald House in Philadelphia, away from everybody. It wasn't until he was about 4 that he was allowed to be around people, and he actually celebrated his first birthday party at 4 years of age. And that was what we did, was we just had Sesame Street on rewind and the videos and the tapes and everything else. So
Okay.
that makes sense. That was his comfort zone
Real.
for then. And now it is a strong stim to stop. Although he told me this week, when he starts doing these things, he wants me to call his name out loud and almost do like a quick shell shock. And that stops him. Can you see the handle?
Yeah.
Mom has dealt with these gyms for so
No, that's no good.
long. And I know they drive her crazy
Wonderful bird.
because it drives
Really?
me crazy too.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me one time that it makes him anxious. And I think that like he's soothed, but sometimes he gets stuck on one phrase or SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And
Not the American Eye.
and it makes him so uncomfortable that some of those times that I'll end up having to give him something to relax him because he can't stop it.
He's not the American Eye. He's not the American Eye.
New Revelation, Cindy.
The American Eye. He's not the American Eye.
We are going to
He's not the American Eye. He's not the American.
help
Not the American.
many spellers
The American Eye. Not the
get
American
open
Eye.
before the
He's not the American Eye. The American Eye.
practitioner
Not the
finishes
American Eye.
with them.
He's not the American Eye.
Who is you
Really?
are? You guys are.
Who,
You said
like,
we. You
American-
new revelation, Cindy. And then I missed that one word. You said we are going to help many
Not the
spellers.
American Eye. He's
Mom and
not the
I
American.
working
Not the
together.
American Eye.
Yeah.
on this.
Not the American Eye.
I
He's
am
not the American Eye.
her.
He's not
I am her great. I am her break bread
the American Eye. He's
thinker,
perfect. He's not the
and
American Eye.
she is the
He's not the American Eye.
brains for
He's not the American Eye.
spelling with the person
He's not the
she
American Eye. He's not the American Eye.
connects
He's not
with.
the American Eye. He's not the American Eye. He's not the
So the way he
American
had explained it to me,
Eye.
which I believe
not
that
the
because, like I
American-
told you,
yeah,
I don't really
me.
have the skills
not
or the
the
knowledge
American
of
eye.
all of this. I
The
just have
American
my
Eye.
little course
not
that I
the
took
Yeah,
and whatever.
me. He's not the
But
American
you
Eye.
would tell me that God gives me this ability and that he's helping me and pointing me to the ones
not
that
the
God
American
is calling
eye.
me to.
That makes sense. Ricky, I'm going to take the class with Soma next week.
He's not the American Eye.
I'm going to learn RPM next week. And your sister, right?
Mom told me, and I'm so happy about that. You need to teach the spellers about God and give them
Well, he's not the
the
American Eye.
ability
He's not the
to-
American Eye.
to see what you see when
The American Eye. He's not the American Eye.
wow, when you sing songs of worship.
He's not the American
Oh.
Yeah, that's me. He's not the American Eye.
Is that her? Is that what her gift is? Mom,
He's not the American Eye. He's not the American
Cindy
Eye.
has to follow her calling and
He's not the American Eye.
sing God's praises through spelling and singing
God, you're surprised
at the
me,
same
Ernie.
time.
God, you're surprised
At the same time.
me, Ernie.
Interesting.
God, you surprised me, Ernie.
How is that going to help the spellers? My
Look, you see,
feeling
I'm reading. Look, you
is
see, I'm
that
reading. Look, you see, look, you see, I'm
her
reading.
God-given
Look, you
voice
see, oh,
will help her to connect
look, you see, I'm reading.
them.
Look, you see, I'm reading.
before they are open.
Look, you see, I'm reading. Look,
Aha. That's a new concept.
My ears are going.
look, you see, I'm reading. Look, you see, I'm
And
reading. Look, you see, I'm reading.
I'd love
Look, you see, I'm
to
reading.
see
See, I'm reading.
you
Look, you see, I'm reading.
do
Look, you
what
see, I'm reading. Look,
my
you see, I'm
mom
reading.
is
Look, you
doing
see, I'm reading.
and
Look, you see, I'm reading.
supporting our
Look, you see, I'm
arms
reading.
while we
Look, you
fearlessly
see, I'm reading.
feel the arms that God gave us, but aren't able to be felt at the moment.
Got angry eyebrows.
You can sing the words to the Bible to the spellers and have them spell what you are asking. That's actually a really cool idea.
Ricky, how did you know that I sing?
I'm taking it.
It's he thinks it's a dumb question, but
Wonderful.
Taking a shower.
Oh, I watch you sing while you're in church at Liquid and Parsippany.
yeah, but I'm just in the audience with everybody else.
Yes, but
And he's ready.
you're praising God and giving him the glory
I'm ready.
he
I'm ready.
deserves. And
I'm ready. Well, Brad, I think.
at the same
Well, Brad, I
time,
think so. I
you
think.
are sharing your gift to the people around you who can hear
I'm reading.
your
Look, you see, I'm reading.
angelic voice.
Look, you see, I'm reading.
That sounds like remote viewing to me.
Look, you see, I'm
That sounds like what?
That sounds like the remote viewing.
Oh.
Ricky, do you know about remote viewing? Yes, I
Look, you see, I'm
see
reading. Look, you see, I'm reading.
many people's
Look, you see, I'm reading.
actions
Oh.
and
Look, you see, I'm
feels
reading.
in the moment not so good, but
Look, you see, I'm reading.
I am able
Look, you see, I'm
to do
reading. Look, you see, I'm reading.
which actually makes sense now because I didn't know that my son was up here from the army because he didn't tell me, but Ricky did.
Look, you see, I'm reading.
He said John
Look, you see,
is
I'm
here
reading.
in New Jersey. And I just was like, oh, maybe he's mind reading. But he has told me a couple things like that now that we're mentioning all of this.
Look,
So
you
it's
see,
funny
I'm
because
reading. Look, you see,
he
I'm
mentioned that
reading.
his gift is prophecy, and it sounds like he just prophesied to me because I was going to say, what do you got for me? You have a word for me, but that sounds like that was it, the spelling and singing. I'm glad I wrote that down.
My word for you is
Yep. I want to remember. I remember.
Abba loves your voice. Don't take it for granted.
Look, you see, I'm reading. Oh.
I do thank
Look, you
him.
see, I'm
I do thank
reading.
God for that gift. I was always singing on worship
See, I'm
teams.
reading.
I've led worship and
Yeah,
been on
reading.
worship teams for many years, but
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
I've stepped back from it.
Look, you
And when I
see.
go to Liquid, I'm not on their team. I've been on their team in
Yeah,
other
reading.
churches.
Oh.
I'm sort of in limbo
Oh.
right now.
Oh.
So that's why it's interesting that he brought that up.
Yeah, reading.
He said, my mouth is feeling your
Yeah. Just here.
brave words of despair.
Rooster. Look, you see, I'm reading.
You
Look, you see, I'm reading.
haven't
Look, you see, I'm
been singing, but you are
Yeah, I'm reading.
aware now,
Look, you see, I'm reading.
and
I'm reading.
God
Oh.
asked for you to
Oh. Oh.
heed his hard new
Look,
revelation
you see, I'm reading.
and
Look, you
sing
see,
for
I'm
his
reading.
spellers.
I have talked to somebody recently about starting up a Bible study. And she she owns a business, and she said that I can use her space when it's not being used. And I've been wanting to, and I have the spellers in my head as well. I want it to be for basically just to read the Bible, because a lot of people just don't read the Bible anymore. You know, they just depend on it at church. So I wanted to do that, but I was like, oh, maybe I can bring spellers into this too. I don't know.
He said, my mom knows I want to be a part of that. And Cindy, I would love to help you and get that going. And he did tell me that a while ago that he wanted to have a Bible study.
Yeah,
Well,
that I know, but I thought maybe he
What
wanted to
did
do
he
his
say to
own.
you? Mom, can you bring me to Cindy? Yeah, I mean, I would make that work. I know that's something he desires, and I think that would be awesome, actually.
Because right now I'm only talking like once a month. You know, it's not
Yeah.
going to be like every week.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. What do you got to say? I don't want to put no words in your mouth. Mom gets my great passion and make sure I get to deal with the same, deal with the same fearless attitude that she has. So I can help spellers find their way
I remember this.
each
Look,
time
this. I remember
we
this.
sing to their senses by
I remember this.
holding their arm and
Look, you see, I'm
supporting them
reading. Oh,
so
look, you
we
see, I'm
can
reading.
get
Look, you see,
our
I'm reading.
voices heard without any delay. I will say now what I believe can help the spellers while they are waiting, but you know, at the same time, like I also say to Ricky, that's not something that you can just go out there and tell everybody hold the elbow, because
But
you
I've
have
heard even just a finger on top of the shoulder, somebody just touching a piece of hair, something that just helps them feel where their body
feel
is
their-
in space.
yeah, like literally, here, Ricky, I wish I could. This is what he likes to do.
Okay.
And my arm is like completely limp, and he just like drags it all over the place.
Uh-huh.
That's like the hand thing. So you'll see, like I'm like an open palm. Go ahead.
Mhm.
All over the place. I'm afraid it's all over the place.
Be the change, so we don't have to wait for these expensive, really expensive classes. Feast on the goodness that God has placed in your heart and support us so we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
very much
Oh, yeah.
escape from hell. And that's the part that I say like is the hard thing to put out there without really like causing some problems. And I'm careful about that, but at the same time,
This is a real thing.
It's real. It's real. It works. Now, again, I will say, I do believe what Ricky says about the connection piece, because they are opening their hearts, right? And something so incredibly sensitive and vulnerable as this, to where they have to literally give themselves to that person behind that board. And they also, the other boy that I work with,
Look, you see,
I asked him like, what is his problem with his mother
romantic question.
too, because his mother is wonderful.
Romantic
And she's doing
question.
everything she can. And she said, he told me she doesn't believe in him.
Romantic question.
Oh.
That holds him back.
Huh.
So You know, that
Well,
could be
that's the thing. They can hear your thoughts and pick up on all your emotions and everything. And when the parents are
That's
too
better.
emotional,
Is
they're too
that better?
excited, they're too fearful, they're too
Yeah.
anxious, they're going to be affected by all of that.
my mom
Or
gets the real breakthroughs from the spellers because God ordained her for this. And she gives glory to him and takes nothing for herself. It makes
No.
sense, Ricky,
This is this is a calling for you.
for sure. And like I said, it goes back
Is that better?
all these
Is that
years to
better?
that one moment,
Is that
face to
better?
face
Yeah,
with Jesus.
you made that promise to God.
Yep.
You didn't know what it was going to be.
And my husband is well
Is
aware
that
of it.
better?
I mean, I told
Is that
him,
better?
I don't care if we have not a penny to our
Is
name.
that
I
better?
will not take any money from any of these
Is that better?
individuals. I
Is that
just won't.
better?
This
Is
is
that better?
my gift to God for the gift that He has given
Is
me
that
that it's not
better?
even matchable. Like I still, there's still no way anything I ever do can compare to the gift that He gave me.
Right.
And so I just continue to be on my knees in gratitude to just follow where He leads me and do these things and do it and give Him the glory. And I pray that someday it's not that it'll ever be enough, but that my heart is really known to be this is for Him because of my love and gratitude. Anything else,
Is
my
that
dear?
better?
What else you
Is
have to
that
say, Rick?
better?
Mom has the love of God for the spellers,
Yourself.
and she
And he's singing. Look what he's singing. He's singing.
doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
The gift, I mean, the gift of his life, Cindy, like I have a journal from day one, from when we were in the hospital. There is no way other than by God's grace and a miracle that this boy is alive. And not only is he alive, but he is thriving. He's healthy. He doesn't get sick. He's intelligent. He loves and he gives. And I have exposed him to everything and anything, and yet he doesn't get a sniffle. Yet his labs don't show that. So, he just reinforces my faith every single second of the day because it's just not possible to be this with what his transplant and his immune system shows. So it's just God, God, God.
Mhm.
And if my heart and passion for all of this, is coming through because of what God has done for me, well, then I just hope and pray that it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing so that I can give back something for what has been given to me. And it's not just the miracle of Ricky's life. It is these connections of soul saving. And I'm going to say it as soul saving because that's what they tell me. I've saved them. And that is enough to save me and to give me every single thing I need in life. I need nothing more, which is why I won't take the money because the money is not going to give me anything. I can't. It's for God's glory and for God's glory only.
Mhm. And I think that's a perfect sentiment to end our interview.
Yeah.
That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it and it helped you gain a new perspective. If so, be sure to hit the like button and follow this channel to hear or see future episodes. Please visit our website at robbiesworldbook.com, where you'll learn more about Robbie's World Foundation. We do retreats for moms and events for families. You'll learn more about our book series, Robbie's World and His Spectrum of Adventures, which was featured on the Today Show for World Autism Awareness Day. The series has 12 stories about a little penguin with autism based on the life of my son Robbie when he was a little boy. Kids of all ages and abilities love to read the rhyming stories. Meanwhile, they'll be learning things about autism like stimming and eloping. If you'd like to actually see videos of Robbie and get to know him, visit our YouTube page, Robbie's World, and scroll all the way back to the beginning, and you'll see videos of him, and you'll see how this all got started.
Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to join us again on our next episode of Spectrum Perspectives.